Okay. Can you hear me? Check.
Yes.
Can I start?
Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to LLTC seminar. The first presentation in this afternoon about students' perceived confidence in writing publishable article. Well, ladies and gentlemen, before we show our presentation, let me introduce our team for this session. I am Jamiatul Hairiyah Hasibuan as moderator, Mariana Sri Purwanti as the first presenter, and Fidelis Kosa Kastuhandani as the second presenter. Ladies and gentlemen, the next agenda is presentation session to Miss Mariana Sri Purwanti and Mr. Fidelis Kosa Kastuhandani. Times is yours.
All right, first I will share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can.
Make it full screen. All right, thank you for the moderator. I will begin the presentation now. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. An honor to meet you here. Let me introduce myself. My name is Mariana Superlanti. I would like to present our paper, my paper and Mr. Costa papers. The title, Students Perceive Confidence in Writing Publishable Article, authors by Mariana Sipulanti, and Mr. Fidelis Kosa Kastuhandani from Sanata Dharma University. All right. In this presentation, there are some sections that I will explain. The first one is background, and then the second one is literature review, the third one methodology, the fourth one findings, and the last one is conclusion. All right, let's move to the background. In this background, why I chose this topic is because none of the other studies have gone into further depth on the specific process undergraduate students take to retain their self-confidence in writing publishable articles. According to Magula et al. 2020, the rate of successful articles can be affected by the common mistakes made by the researchers. Some common problems, such as some mistakes in the article standards, troubles with the language, and limitedness, were encountered in publication. Therefore, EFL students struggle to publish their articles. To bridge this gap, the study addresses ELEST students' perceived confidence in writing publishable articles at Sanata Dharma University, since they may still have difficulties in writing a well-prepared journal, a well-prepared article that will be published and read by the readers. And the next. In the study, the researchers also found related literature. There are perception, writing confidence, writing an academic paper, challenges in writing an academic paper, tools used in writing an academic paper, grammar quality, similarity, and readability index. In the study, the researcher used N-gram theory, which is self-editing theory. Why the researcher used this theory is because in the process of writing an article, sometimes students commit some errors and therefore they do cross-check to convince themselves that their writing is correct. In this case, students seek solution by using their initiative to find strategies in order to correct errors. Once the students do a self-editing in writing articles with positive results, they feel confident with the result of their articles because it has been through various processes. According to Lee and Hagelheimer 2013, self-editing is called an initiated activity for students because it provides a critical step in reviewing their writing. And the next section is research methodology. In this study, the researchers used qualitative descriptive method. According to Nugrahanto and Hartono 2020, a qualitative study was one in which evidence in the form of specific words was descriptively analyzed. Thus, the study's type was descriptive because the data were not enumerative, but rather oral and writing words. This study was conducted online at Sanata Dharma University on March 20 and 22 for final semester students of English Language Education Study Program who enrolled in conference called Undergraduate Conference 20 and 21. There were 34 final semester students of English Language Education Study Program who joined Undergraduate Conference 20 and 21. In this study, the researchers used criterion-based sampling by Turner 20 and 10 for finding the sample. And then the researcher found 8 students who published their articles who will be the sample. And there are some techniques for collecting the data. The first one is interview by using an instrument, open-ended question. And the second one is focus group discussion by using an instrument, open-ended question. And the third one is the document analysis by using an instrument reflection. There are open-ended questions. The total of open-ended question is 27 items, and the reflection is 1 item. The study used data analysis. The study used thematic analysis. According to Tiger and Paprio 2020, thematic analysis is a technique for analyzing or describing qualitative data. Furthermore, the researchers used an application NFIPO 12 for supporting the study. NFIPO 12 is a qualitative data analysis application that allows the researcher to collect, organize, analyze, and visualize the data. NFIPO helped the researcher to code the qualitative data by using a type of codes in NFIPO called them nodes. It was a code that represented the themes that the researcher found in the study. And there are 2 research questions in the study. The first one is, how do ELESP students perceive their confidence in writing publishable articles? And the second one, how do ELESP students solve the perceived challenges in writing publishable articles? For answering those questions, the researchers found four things. The first one is the understanding of writing an articles. So ELESP students knew the steps and processes of how to write an article properly. And the second one is that the decision making to solve problems. So ELESP students only relate on their writing skills, but also solve the problem from peer review. And the third one, the positive impact of online tools. So ELESP students utilize some online tools. Most of them used Google Docs, Google Scholar, Grammarly, and Turnitin. And the fourth one, the confidence in self-worth. So ELESP students' confidence in their ability in writing an article. But there were also some students who had doubts about their articles. In conclusion, most ELESP students in the study were confident in writing articles. However, some of them also doubted their ability in writing and therefore they were not writing article maximally. Furthermore, ELESP students in the study found some difficulties in writing an articles, like the use of correct grammar and word choices. And most of them benefited from peer feedback and utilized some online tools in writing articles. And here's the references that I used for this presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the presenters. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are come to opinions, question and answer session. There will be two sessions and the question, if you have question, please mention your name. Any question maybe?
Maybe there is no questions.
Any question? Okay. I think no questions. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, finally we are come to the last agenda. We would like to say thanks again for the presenters and audience for active participant. Hopefully the presentation will give benefit for us. Thank you for your attention and good afternoon.
So thank you, Miss Mariana and also Pak Kosa for the presentation. Now let us move to the next presentation, which will be delivered by Jamiatul Khoiriyah and Muhammad Ilyas and moderated by Sada Kamilia. Thank you. Okay, maybe because Sada Kamalia is not in this room, I will moderate this presentation. So welcome for the next presentation, which are Miss Jamiatul Khoiriyah and Mr. Muhammad Ilyas from Universitas Islam Riau, Indonesia. So in this presentation, they will deliver about students' language attitude in speaking for academic context at Language Education Study Program of FKIP Universitas Islam Riau. So time is yours.
Can I share the screen?
Yep.
Can you see my screen? My screen, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you to moderator who have given me time to presentation, and thank you for you all of participants. Okay, let me introduce myself. My name is Jamiatul Hoiriyah Hasibuan. I'm from Universitas Islam Riau, Pekanbaru, Indonesia. And my team is Mr. Muhammad Ilyas. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this presentation will be discussed about students' language attitude in speaking for academics context class at English Language Education Study Program of FKIP UIR, Universitas Islam Riau. Okay, why the researcher choose language attitude? Because researchers have observed some students speak little in English even during classroom. It's so that students were willing to learn the English they are learning. They consider teaching English as a learning program, but doesn't not mean they have positive attitude. But you can also take a negative attitude. Okay. For the first introduction. Speaking is a way of expressing an opinion or feeling to other people. By speaking, we can provide information with other people. When we talk about speaking, we don't just say word with our mouth, but means passing the message by word of the mouth. So learners do not have enough opportunities inside or outside the classroom to speak English. And then learning to speak English is closely related to attitude. A person's attitude, especially college students, determine their ability to study. And then language attitude might be positive or negative depending on how people learn the language. And then there are three elements of the components of attitude. There are cognitive, affective, or emotional, and ready to action or cognitive. The cognitive elements of the mindset deal with the learner to the ideas about the knowledge, and the learner acquires the understanding during the language learning process. And then emotional element of attitude is emotion. And the last is cognitive component. The cognitive components include the will be action or how the person have in particular situation. The next is method. The researcher used descriptive research with a qualitative approach. By Creswell, qualitative research is an investigation process of inquiry based on distinct methodological tradition of inquiry that explores as a social or human problems. And the population in this study is the fourth semester of English language education of FKIP Universitas Islam Riau in the academic year 2022. And the researcher chose class B as a sample because there is one class consistent of 25 students. Okay, findings and discussion. There are three factors of language. There are cognitive, affective, and readiness for action or cognitive when learning to speak. The study find out the students' speaking attitude from in questionnaire and interview that researcher give to the students. For the first is cognitive components of language attitude. From the analysis of the 10th question, the first cognitive indicator, we found 3.5% students choose strongly disagree, 12.4% students choose disagree, 31.6% choose neutral, 36% choose agree, and 16.5% choose strongly agree. Most of the fourth semester students have positive characteristic on cognitive indicator as they answered, and on the interview they are said they like to learn English because it's important language in modern era and globalization, and also speaking English can make it easier to them to communicate with people in other countries. And the last is make it easier to get information and make it easier to get a work. And the second is affective components of language attitude. From the analysis of 10th question, the second affective indicator, we found 0.% students choose strongly disagree, 10% students choose disagree, 29% choose neutral, 38% choose agree, and 16% choose strongly agree. So most of the fourth semester students have positive attitude and have positive attitude on affective indicator. As they answered on the interview, they proud of English, of learning English because they can do language from what is generally possible, make them intellectual, can improve their language, and they proud when learning English, proud to themselves who's able to learn another language. And the next is cognitive components of language attitude. Now, from the analysis of 10th question on the last indicator is cognitive, we found 4% students choose strongly disagree, 15.6% students choose disagree, 37.6% choose neutral, 31.6% choose agree, and 11.2% choose strongly agree. So more of the fourth semester students have neutral action on cognitive indicators as they answered on the interview than forever to use grammatical because meaning of the language is not ambitious. There are forever to ungrammatically because they like to speak with slang, or sometimes they think not to forever grammatical because in my opinion, my friends know what I mean. So the result from the three indicators, this study is to find out the language attitude of students when learning academics context class for the fourth semester of FKIP Universitas Islam Riau English education from the 30 data which has included question about the three indicators, cognitive, affective, and cognitive, that they have a positive attitude, and they more include the affective indicators, which show their emotion and feelings about learning to speak English. So this show that they like to learn speak English, but sometimes constrained by their circumstance, environment, and threat. So the last is conclusion. The study was concluded to find out the students' language attitude on learning speaking skill of the fourth semester at Universitas Islam Riau. The result of this study was categorized positive attitude. Based on the three indicator components of language attitude, that are cognitive components, affective components, and readiness for action or cognitive component. For the first component, namely cognitive, they have positive attitude, and the second is affective components is also they have a positive attitude, and the last components is readiness for action or cognitive. They have neutral in language attitude. This is the reference, and thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Jamiatul. So maybe let's move on to the Q&A session. Is there any questions from the participants? Or maybe I will just ask the first questions. So because this is about the academic context at English language education, um, you said that the result is positive and the FKIP students in Riau is good at English. How can how can you or your friends, what is it, improve the English skills again? Because I think it is very important for the English education students to improve their academic English skills, because I see that the result is only for the like daily conversation, not the academic. So how can we improve that the academic speaking skills? Thank you.
Okay, for to improve language attitude in speaking, so the student must the teacher must push the teacher must push the student to speak like just a little in the hometown or in home, just improve and give they the motivation to like for like English language education and prone by English language education. So I think with that they for more time they like and more like English language education. I think the motivation or the give the such yeah, motivation for student, I think like that.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other questions?
Okay, I want to ask a question. What's your opinion or what do you think about students' language attitudes nowadays? Is it good, better, or not good or bad? Thank you.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Okay. What do you think about students' language attitudes nowadays? Is it good? Is it good, better, or not good or bad? What's your opinion about it? Thank you.
I think that's good because attitude in language attitude is so important in our life, not only in university or school or college, but in our life. Language attitude is so important.
Okay, thank you for your answer.
Thank you.
Is there any other questions? Okay, if not, thank you for Ms. Jamiatul Khairia for the presentation. And because Ms. Sada Kamalia and Fachul Muin from Universitas Lampung Mangkurat Indonesia is not here, so maybe we can just end the parallel session in this room, and you can directly go to the another breakout room for this session. And thank you very much for the insightful discussion. Now you can move to the another breakout room. Thank you.